Well, I'd like to welcome you guys back to the channel. This is Living Liberated with the Brookses. Cherie is behind the camera on this one because today I want to talk to you guys about what living liberated looks like, particularly when you're going through a period of grieving.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight.
All right, guys, I just want to welcome you back to the channel. If you have not, do me a favor, go ahead and like, share, subscribe. But every week we like to try and bring you guys some content to help you understand what we mean when we say living liberated. So Liz, we're going to have to let the people know, because first of all, this is the first time for anybody that knows us from two coaches in the room that you guys are seeing us on the same camera in the same city at the same time.
Like,
this is just epic.
It is epic.
So let me just set it up really quickly and we'll let Liz jump in. Liz, obviously you knew that Cherie and I were thinking about moving to Panama quite a few years ago. And we actually put it together and made it happen. Timing would have it that we were here and moved here. We've been in country about 4 weeks now. At a time where, quite frankly, you needed to get away.
Yes.
And we're going to talk a little bit about, because this is the very first time that Liz is publicly talking about some things that she's recently gone through. But she's graciously accepted the opportunity to share with you guys because, Liz, you and I got to talking about what living liberated means to you. So if you can, only share what you feel comfortable with, but bring people up to speed on why are you here and what does living liberated look like for you?
So I am here, first of all, totally unexpected. I wasn't planning to come to Panama at all. It was not on the radar. My son and I took a trip over to Colombia as a part of our healing journey. My son Kino, my 30-year-old son Kino, recently passed away on May 10th, and it has been extremely difficult just navigating through that, accepting that, finding peace in that, understanding in that. It was just, and it was a lot. It got chaotic, I think, in my own mind, and not so much in my environment, but just more so in my mind. And I just felt like, you know what, let's get out of here. Let's just step away from home, which is where the three of us lived together, myself and my two boys. And I just felt, you know, the environment was so familiar. It was where we all lived together. And I felt myself, I'm not going to speak it over my life or speak it into my life. I'm not going to say I was going into depression, but I think I was. I don't know if I've ever been depressed.
Right.
So I don't know if that's what it was. But the moment I started to feel that, I knew that I had to get away. I knew that I had to get us away from that. And so we chose Colombia.
You got to tell them why.
Yeah, because my son, who was a backpacker and traveled the world, you've been to many, many different countries, always wanted to go to Colombia. Now, I went because thinking it's what he would have wanted to do, not necessarily what I would have chosen. I don't think I would have chosen Colombia, but we went for that reason. And so Captain, my 15-year-old, and I got on a plane, and we made our way over to Colombia. That lasted about 5 days, and Captain wasn't feeling it. To be quite honest, I wasn't either, but it wasn't like bad. Like, it wasn't like I was like, I can't do this. I don't want to be here. No, it was just, I was looking for this feeling and I wasn't getting it.
One of the things you told me, Liz, and I thought it was powerful because you and I were texting back and forth because, and we'll get into that, but the idea of going to Colombia was about completing something that Kino wanted to do.
Yes.
So you were looking for the aha moment when you got there,
Yeah.
and you never quite found it.
I didn't find it, no. And I didn't say anything to Captain, to my son. I kind of kept it to myself, but I could see it in his eyes that he wasn't feeling what he maybe thought he was going to get either.
Right.
It was one of those things where we just both looked at each other one night, and he said to me, you know, I'm missing home.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, okay, and I kind of sat with him for a minute, and I'm missing home. It went from I'm missing home to I kind of want to go home. I felt extremely sad in that moment, and we're already sad as it is, and we're grieving. So I thought, okay, well, we'll go home. We'll just cut it short. And in that moment of saying that, Glenn FaceTimes me.
Yeah.
And
which I never do.
Right. You know, especially off grid like that.
Yeah.
You know, you were like, woman, you need to answer your phone now.
Right.
We hadn't connected since Keno's passing. And I hadn't connected with anybody, really.
Right.
So he FaceTimes me.
Yeah.
And I you know, I took the call, and I stepped aside. I said, Captain, I'm going to step aside for a minute. And the moment I look into the camera and we look at each other, I just started bawling.
Right.
I was just crying because my son just shared that he was sad. And even though we were already sad as it was sad being in Colombia, that's one. And then the next thing was I hadn't spoken to you about what happened. So, you know, when you connect with someone, you have such a deep love and friendship and brotherhood, sisterhood, you know, mentorship, coaching kind of relationship.
Absolutely. Business partners to some degree. We've done things together.
Right, exactly.
Right. And you guys have to understand, Liz, if I could jump in, for me, I was concerned. So I don't know if you've ever gone through with somebody who's had a significant, even tragic loss, and they go through what they go through, and everybody is different, but I just needed to know that my sister was good, that she was okay. And we had traded enough text messages for me to know that she was in Colombia. And then that's when I said, it would be a shame if you are 45, listen, you guys got to understand, Colombia on paper is about an hour flight away from Panama City. It's actually...
It's about 30 minutes.
30 minutes in the air. So I said, Liz Correia, this is a shame, and it would be absolutely tragic if you come this close and we don't connect. Either Cherie and I are going to jump on a flight to come see you, or you're going to come see us. And that, for me, really defines living liberated.
Being able to do that.
The fact of the matter is, and on several levels, Liz.
Yeah.
Like, so physically we were able because we were close to the same city.
Yes.
Spiritually we were able because we had already made such connection with each other. Our values aligned.
Yes.
And then it became, you know, just kind of working out the details and being in a space. Cherie and I, when we came here, Liz, we recognized that this would be the beginning of us being able to move around and create environments for people to come and experience being liberated in their mind, in their body, and in their soul. If you guys look at the surroundings that we're at, this is about an hour away from where we live, hour and a half away from where we live. And I'm telling you right now, Liz, it's a place of peace.
Oh.
And so you got on that plane, you and Captain.
Yeah,
and
he was like, I'm ready now. He was like, you know, you can come on, you know, on your way home, you can stop here. And Captain, my son, could hear him, and he was like, no, I want to go now. So I was like, you know, I mean, I knew that it would be another expense.
Yeah.
You know, so again, living liberated, sacrificing, taking that chance, just saying yes, you know, especially when your mental state or your loved ones, you know, are hurting. Your children are no longer happy where they're at. Maybe it's a school, you know, moving them from that school into another school, or moving home, whatever, relocating, whatever it is. When I think of living liberated, I wanted Captain. I went to Colombia for him to feel, to some level, liberated in his grief, like get a break. You know
what? When you guys got here, Cherie and you and I, we all went out to dinner several times. We've been going out to dinner every other day.
Too much.
It's been a situation. But one of the things that we recognize is that, you know, Captain needed to be in a place where there was a healthy diversion, that he could kind of get back to connecting where he was. Because I think that one of the things that you shared with me, and that was Panama felt like a breath of fresh air when you got here. It felt like all of a sudden it was okay to
Yeah.
get back to somewhat of a semblance of normalcy?
Yeah, I think for me, I'll say that what happened and what is happening here is I was searching for a moment where I can begin my healing process, where I can at least start, because I felt no hope. It was like I could not see how I was going to live the rest of my life without my son,
Yeah.
who has been my life.
Yeah.
I don't even remember life without him.
Sure.
You know, I was 16 when I got pregnant. We grew up together. We're best friends.
Right.
He's my companion,
Right.
my everything,
Yeah.
you know, really. And I was like, when does this start?
Mm-hmm.
When will I begin to feel? And not to say that the healing will ever go away.
Sure.
This is my new norm. This is my forever.
Sure.
It's my forever.
Sure.
But there was a moment where I was looking forward to start the healing journey, to accept what has happened, at least,
Yeah.
or to find some form of understanding, or, you know, a place of peace where I can connect with God. And, you know, I was looking for something, and I wasn't feeling it. And then I started thinking to myself, geez, maybe whether I'm in Africa or Portugal or Bali, maybe I'm just never going to be okay. And that's how I was feeling.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking to myself, I don't know if I'll ever be able to work again.
I want to stop you there, Liz. I don't know if you guys are viewing this and you've ever been in that place. If so, put me in the comments below. Y'all, that's a scary place to be.
Oof.
Especially for a person like you who built everything that you have, your entire company, you've built through your experiences, through the transformations that you've gone through.
All the other ones.
And so
Yes.
now it's like, if everything that I've done up until now has served to get me here, what do I do in order to get from here to there? Because I gotta be able to move.
Yeah.
I
And
gotta be able
yeah.
to move.
And I usually have that answer.
Ah,
I have always turned my pain into passion, into purpose, into pay.
yeah,
I've always just, you know, that's just been my life. Like, I take a fall, I use it to create something great.
yeah,
You know, I'll have an
Yeah.
event, I'll create a new course, I'll speak, I'll create a new topic,
Sure.
you know. But this
Yeah.
was like, it crippled me.
wow,
I've never felt so crippled in emotional, mental, spiritual, physical pain. I've never known a pain like this, ever.
yeah. Guys, let me say this, and Liz, I want to turn the corner just a little bit because I can hear people saying, so how have you been able to begin
Yeah.
and move through this? Now that you're here in Panama, you and I and Cherie, we sat down and we've had some brainstorming sessions around what this is, how can you potentially begin.
Yeah.
Can you share with people just sort of the shift and some of the things that you're thinking about that maybe other people can glean from, just who might be here? And that is, like, what's the first step? What's the second step? And you're still going through it. Talk to us about some of the steps that you're taking.
Well, I know for me, the first step, the most important, would be my health. You know, that's always been a very important thing for me, is to take care of myself, to take care of my health, to more so the exercising part. Like the eating part, I'm pretty good. I don't eat, I'm not a big eater.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm pretty good with, like, you know, I know what to eat and what not to eat.
Yeah.
It was, you know, getting the energy, finding the energy and the strength
Yes.
to, you know, work out every day like I was prior to May 10th. You know,
Yes.
working out every day, taking care of myself, moving my body, which is, you know, that is like everything for me.
Liz, do you think that environment speaks to that? Like where a person is environmentally, being able to get yourself from one environment to another so that you can almost force that?
Yeah, I think what happens is I've been working out from home for over a year, all throughout the pandemic.
Yeah.
I was working out from home. And getting myself up to work out from home after my son's passing, it was hard.
Yeah.
So what I knew I had to do was remove myself from this environment that we lived in for 10 years. You know, woke up together, you know, all the regular everyday life was there. I knew that I had to get away to go find that momentum again.
Yeah.
To go find that strength and that hope, and then come back home and continue. But I wasn't feeling it.
So one of the things I want to encourage you guys is, and step one for her is focusing on her health, the thing that she needed to do in order to get back to who she is. Anybody that knows Liz knows that is her, right? Changing her environment, step two, to force that needle so that you guys can find yourself, if you're in these states of funks where you know this ain't profitable for you, you cannot live here forever, what do you need to do to change that environment? For you, it was going, because Panama wasn't on the radar, so it was going to Colombia, being willing to change, come here. But it makes sense now, Liz, because that walking is life for you.
It is, and that was another thing too. And you know, even when we were in Colombia, I had a gym right there, and I didn't feel it. I was like, I worked out twice out of 5 days. It was twice, but I did this to say, you know, I said I want to get away and I want to get back to working out every day, and I want to get back to walking every day, and I just wasn't feeling it. So for me, that was the one of the things that I needed to feel again.
Got it.
And I even though it was 2 months, I know, Glenn, how easy it is, and I got a glimpse of it, how easy it would have been for me to fall into a dark, dark hole. And because I have some of those tools from the work that I've been doing for 15 plus years, even though I was in a pain I've never felt, I had some of those tools to know that if I stay here, if I let this be, this is going to be really, really bad for me. I think this is going to be the moment where people are going to say, we really need to help her. She's not doing well. She's not doing good.
Listen.
Yeah.
We're going to probably come back at some point and begin to let you guys in on a little secret and some things that we kind of been up to that's helping Liz, and we believe that probably will help people through sort of some stages of growth. Liz, before we let folks go, is there any prevailing thought you want them to leave with when it comes to choosing to live liberated? Because when you start talking about a dark hole, you chose not to go there.
Yes, I did.
That was a very, very distinct, intentional choice, and it caused you to have to make certain adjustments. Cherie and I have watched you begin to live again, and it's not without grief. It's not without the fact that this is about you forgetting.
No.
Because that'll never happen.
Never.
But the truth of the matter is that you have started living, and we're watching it from the outside looking in. Encourage people who are struggling with what it looks like to live liberated before we leave out of here today.
So for me, I'm going to take a page out of my journal. Last night I was writing some notes about peace and healing, and I wrote, in one of the sentences I wrote, I never thought I would find purpose in this. I never believed I could or would. I don't even know if I wanted to be honest, because I almost felt like if I find purpose again, if I start working again, if I start serving again, then is that me forgetting or me saying, you know, it's like, you know, the enemy plays these tricks on you, right? And then number one, what came to me was my son was my biggest cheerleader. He was my photographer, videographer, like he started this brand with me. He built this with me. He was my biggest fan, never missed an event. He was at my last one the Sunday 2 days before he passed away. So that was the first thing, is it's what he would want me to do. You know, the second thing that came to me, and I don't know who this is going to speak to, but I just feel in my soul, in my heart, in my spirit that somebody needs to hear this. When we are hurting and grieving and we're not in a healthy place mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, we get so busy chasing purpose, and we think that's what we need to find to feel better, to find purpose. But the truth of the matter is, it's health and wellness that we need to be chasing. I was getting so worked up and stressed out about how am I going to work again? When am I going to work again? What am I going to do? How am I going to do this? And I was forgetting for a minute there my health, my well-being, which is the most important thing for me right now. And listen, Glenn, whether it takes a year, 2 years, 6 months, 5 months, I don't know. But there's going to be something that I'm going to feel right?
Yep.
That's going to say, now you're ready.
That part.
Now you're ready. Now you're ready to come back out, whatever it is. But let's stop chasing purpose. And I know that sounds crazy because all the messaging out there
it's so
is about purpose,
counterintuitive.
purpose,
Yeah,
purpose.
absolutely.
And living liberated, to me, watch this. If you find your purpose, whether that's owning a hotel, whether that is starting a coaching business abroad, whatever that is, what meaning or how long can that last? How far can you go without your health?
Girl, you preaching now. Y'all, let me just say this. That's why this is two coaches in a real room. I love this woman. My wife loves this woman. They've made a connection that's taken a new meaning. And I need y'all to understand, even as we're speaking, that's the thing that caused us to say yes to Panama. It was the beckoning of coming outside that this place has. I've not wanted to be inside the entire time we've been here. I've been nursing all kinds of ails that outside says, I got an answer for that. So we want you guys to really figure out what it looks like for you to say yes to you, and figure out what it looks like for you to choose to live liberated. At the end of the day, here's what I know to be true. You cannot get to any place of significance by yourself, y'all, because we all need some help. Thank you so much for joining us. And if y'all get a chance, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Head on over to the links in the description. If you want to join our Patreon community and you want to support what it is that we're doing, please do that. But make sure y'all head over. We'll put Liz's information. Show her some love. Give her some words of encouragement. She's not reading a lot of the stuff right now, but at this particular point, I promise you, when that time comes, it's going to bless her soul. Words of affirmation is some of her love language. Just saying. Just saying. Y'all be good, and we'll talk to you next time.